Welcome to Federation Commander, tutorial number 5, Shields. This is the ship card for the Federation Heavy Cruiser. It has 6 shields. Shield number 1 is in the front, and then they go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clockwise around the ship. These shield facings are numbered the same no matter which direction the ship is facing. So if it's on the board like this is still shield number 1. It's still shield number 1 when it's facing this way. Every box on all the shields, every box on inside the outline of the ship, and all of the frame boxes are equivalent to 1 point of damage. This section here is just printed on this spot on the card for convenience because there was space here. This is not part of the, these aren't part of the boxes of the ship itself. And when damage occurs, it gets applied to a single shield. So how do we know which shield was actually hit? All you have to do is trace an imaginary line from the source of the attack to the target of the attack, center hex to center hex. So in this case, if the Klingon ship were to fire on the Federation ship, it would clearly hit Shield 1, the one in front of the ship. And note that we're not going to talk about combat yet, we're just talking about how damage is applied and how that affects shields. If the Klingon ship were here, the imaginary line from the center of this hex to the center of this hex crosses Shield 2, so the damage would be applied to Shield 2 on the ship card. Likewise, if the ship was over here and could fire this direction, it would hit Shield 5. Now also note that damage doesn't have to come from direct attacks from other ships. There can be seeking weapons on the board, such as this Klingon drone. If the drone moves from this hex and impacts the ship from this direction, it hits Shield 3, just like you'd expect. Now there's one strangeness here because of the hex grid. If this ship was here and fired on this ship, notice how the line goes directly down the hex spine and hits the corner. In this case, the person who owns the ship that was hit gets to decide which shield gets hit. And that decision applies for that impulse only, and the decision can change on a future impulse. So let's say, for this example, that Shield 2 is hit for 8 damage. The first thing we can do when damage is applied is called shield reinforcement. You are allowed to spend any available energy, and in this case I'm using my dice to indicate that I have 10 available energy left, up to the number of undamaged battery boxes still on your ship. In this case, this ship has 4 good battery boxes, so I could use my energy to reduce that incoming damage by 4 points. So 8 damage comes into Shield 2. I spend 4 of my 10 energy to reduce it to 4 points, and I would mark this shield as having taken 4 damage, like so. I probably didn't mention this before, but these laminated ship cards are dry erasable, and I bought myself some of these multicolored dry erase markers that have an eraser on one end, so I can just come in and erase and modify things as I go. It's really nice. So as you saw, when damage is applied, you mark the shield boxes. So let's go back to the same example and say that 12 damage hit this shield. So again, I would reduce it by 4, because I have 4 good batteries, and I have enough energy to spare. So now only 8 damage hits the shield. However, there's a rule called the leaky shield rule. If the original damage, not the damage that was reduced by shield reinforcement, the original damage, was at least 10 points, then, and it doesn't get through the shield completely, then 1 point of that damage is applied internally. So in this case, I had originally 12. I reduced it down to 8. Only 7 of those are applied to the ship, to the shield, and 1 gets applied internally. And we'll talk about that in a future video. And step 3, of course, is to apply hits internally that are left over. So if this shield happened to take a bunch more damage and was brought down to 0, like so, and took 5 more damage, all 5 of those would be taken internally. In addition to shield reinforcement, there are also 2 more ways to modify shields. During the energy allocation phase at the beginning of each turn, you can regenerate shields by paying 2 points of energy for each box you repair. So I could pay, for example, 6 points and erase 3 of these. Now this is inherently inefficient because it's much cheaper to damage shields than it is to repair them. So you would only normally do this tactical situations where you needed the shield to be up. Remember, you can only use the shield reinforcement rule if the shield has at least 1 undamaged box. The other thing you can do is during the repair phase at the end of each turn, you can transfer up to 5 points of energy from one shield to an adjacent shield, to a single adjacent shield. And you do that by kind of moving the damage around. So for example, I could take 5 points from this shield, like so, and apply them down here. I call that rotating my shields. One more thing you can do is during the turn, you are allowed to drop a shield on purpose so that you can use transporters. And we'll have some fun with that later on. So that's all I have to say about shields for now. We'll have some more fun with combat and shields later. Thanks for watching.